Peter Loshak. It's the Monday right after Week 9, so we're going to talk about the Thursday NFL game with returning guest Jeff Grant, sports betting writer for the Bleacher Report. Jeff, thanks for coming back with us this week.
Great to be with you, Peter. From what I'm hearing out of Las Vegas, it was a very bad weekend for the sportsbooks.
That's exact. I came into work and I do a daily How the Books Did call, a weekly How the Books Did call with Doc from Legends. I swear this has never happened before. He emailed me before the show saying, like, I'm going to be in a bad mood. It's unbelievable. Why? Just quickly, I mean, you have a lot of contacts in the sports betting world. What is it about? Is it just that favorites covered? Because not all the favorites covered.
You know, I just talking with some people in Las Vegas and reading some quotes and having experience of supervising a sports book on the Strip, you can lose a lot of money if the right teams cover the spread in parlays.
Right.
The key teams that were really in just about every public parlay in the NFL yesterday covered the spread. The final, I think, nail in the coffin I was reading on Twitter before this Sunday night football game was the Atlanta Falcons covering the spread, and that didn't happen until the last 20 seconds of the game. If Atlanta would have picked up one more first down, they could have ran out the clock, but it did not go Vegas's way, and Atlanta covered that spread, and that was basically it. Jimmy Vaccaro said it was the worst. He's one of the guys that I quote regularly. I've used his quotations in my Bleacher Report articles with the SBR Forum videos, and he said it was the worst day that he's ever experienced as a bookmaker in Las Vegas. So that tells me a lot.
Really?
He just said that the amount of parlays that are bet, and I didn't know how many parlays were bet in sports betting until you don't really know until you work behind the counter
Right.
and accept bets. And I'm telling you right now, I mean, I was on the Strip and I was surprised because you have off the Strip, you'll have a lot of people that wager on parlays every day, but you figure the casual bettor would just bet on their favorite team or come in, but those people also load up on parlays. So when the right ones hit and you escalate, a 5-6 team parlay, that wipes out any earnings you make on a straight bet wager.
Right. Wow. So how do these people, are they usually betting money line parlays, or are they betting spreads, or both?
You'll have, for the most part, you'll have them just laying, let's say, the Broncos at that 3.5, 3. The Ravens are going to be a popular pick. The Lions, we're going to be on that ticket. So whenever you have those road favorites that are about 3 to 3.5 points, you're going to have basically a lot of parlay tickets in Las Vegas and also the sports betting world, relying on one of those teams. If just one of those teams loses
Right.
or fails to cover the spread, it wipes out basically every parlay that's bet. But when all three of those teams, it's basically D-Day for Las Vegas.
All right, yeah. Well, thanks for all this great inside info, Jeff. You really have a read on the inside track in Vegas, and people are definitely picking up on that. All right, let's talk about the Thursday game, Indy at Jacksonville. Now, this one is, this one's kind of a tough one, actually. Jacksonville's a 3-point home dog. Now, Indianapolis, of course, they can make the playoffs, and if they want to make the playoffs, this is sort of a must-win game for them. And Jacksonville, of course, has nothing. They're getting blown out repeatedly. MJD, I don't think is going to play for this game again, and Gabbard, of course, is awful. But it is a short week. It was a tough game that Indy played against Miami last week, and I'm just thinking, I'd love to play Indy here, but I don't know. Something inside me is telling me that Jacksonville is going to, be playing for pride and maybe surprise people a bit.
This is the Jacksonville Jaguars game of the year. Mm-hmm. Absolutely is. And you can't just blindly bet something based on that fact or how much the public's going to talk about how Vegas took a beating.
Right.
I know that after I prep for these videos, I kind of look through my Twitter feed that follows a lot of people in the sports world in general, and that's where I got the Jimmy Vaccaro quote of being the worst day in his years of bookmaking in Vegas. And then I went down my Twitter feed again, and I saw Colin Cowherd of ESPN, nationally syndicated radio host here in the United States, and he would be leading the Las Vegas Super Hilton, or whatever it's called now. It's not even the Hilton anymore, but the Super Contest in Vegas. He would be leading that contest if he would have entered, and he gives out 5 plays every Friday to his listening audience, which is a pretty wide audience. And he also has a little tout in the industry, or clout in the industry, due to the fact that he started basically his radio career in Las Vegas. And he has already said to people, even if you're not really a bettor, that you should put some money down on the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I tend to agree. Based on a few factors, it's very difficult to win on the road in the NFL.
Yeah.
And everybody is going to be talking about Andrew Luck. He just set a single game record for a rookie quarterback. That was basically the head topic behind the Falcons being the only undefeated team in the NFL, was how good Andrew Luck's game was. But he needed to throw for over 400 yards just to beat the Miami Dolphins yesterday at home, mind you. And another key factor is the fact that this coaching staff has really rallied around the fact that Chuck Pagano has been away. He's fighting leukemia. He came into the locker room after the game and talked to his team. And they've really been going on an emotional high the last few weeks. They beat the Packers in a very prime-time-ish game, and the fact that was the week after he got diagnosed with cancer. But I think they're going to run out of steam here, and I think the public and Vegas is going to try to get some money back here, and I think our viewers should take the Jaguars in this game.
I guess my only question is, does Jacksonville, Blaine Gabbert, can he get a win here against a team that needs a win, and is their running game going to be okay? Do you think that they have the tools to pull out a win here?
I doubt that they have the tools to beat many of teams, but Indianapolis defense is not very good this year, and it's drastically worse when they get off the carpet and go outdoors on a natural surface. And that's what we find here in Jacksonville. Those linebackers, they switched to a 3-4 this year, so Freeney and Mathis may be injured for this game. That's an injury to keep a close eye on over the course of the next 3 days. But when those guys can't get off the edges with that home field advantage, with the crowd noise, it really limits what this defense can do. And Gabbert had a little bit of success against Indianapolis. This is now going to be his 4th game. And this is important, too. This is the first opponent that Andrew Luck has now faced for a second time in his NFL career. So everybody's gotten a first look at him. This is the second time now that Jacksonville gets to face Andrew Luck. And they held him. He only completed 22 of 46 passes when they lost to Jacksonville earlier this year. They won the statistical battle by over 100 yards. But Gabbert, that was his first fourth quarter comeback for Blaine Gabbert. So if he's going to have any confidence in any game this year in the NFL, this is it. And also, my final thought on this game is when you need to win on the road in the NFL as a first-time road favorite, you need to get a few breaks. And Indianapolis does not cause many turnovers. They've only forced 1 turnover on the road this year. They rank near the last in the AFC in the entire NFL in turnover margin, and the Jaguars, except for last week, have done a pretty good job of protecting the football, other than the Bears as well, which was at home. So if there's any game to play the Jaguars, this is it, in my opinion.
That's making more and more and more sense to me, Jeff Grant, as we talk. Thanks so much once again for this great preview. We'll talk to you again very soon.